It's not often that something from my role as lifeboat helm and navigator translates this directly into filmmaking. Most of the overlap is a bit more abstract, a bit more about the mindset and decision making, that sort of thing. But every now and then there's something that comes across almost completely unchanged. Closed loop communication is one of those things, and it's one of the few ideas I brought from the boat into video work that is pretty much a one-to-one transfer of value. So to explain what I mean by that, closed loop comms are very simple. If I'm on the boat and I give an instruction, something like alter course to starboard, new heading 260, I can't just assume that that's been understood. What I expect to hear back is altering course to starboard, new heading 260. And only once that's been repeated back to me do I know that the instruction has actually been understood. So that's the loop, that's closed. And it's actually a really straightforward way of confirming that what you've said has been heard. And in practice, it's not an especially complex concept, but you do need discipline. There's another layer to it as well, which is how you structure the communication itself. When using marine VHF radios, you always open with the name of the vessel that you're hailing, followed by the name of your own vessel. So that removes any ambiguity about who's being addressed and who's doing the talking. We do a slightly stripped back version of that on the boat just for internal comms. So if I'm navigating and I need to give the helm an instruction, I'll say helm nav, which tells you exactly who I'm talking to and who's talking, and it alerts that person that they need to be listening. Because when you're operating in a complicated information space, multiple inputs, pressure, noise, movement, clarity is absolutely mission critical. You need to deliver the exact right amount of information at the exact right time. And this is where it starts to become useful in filmmaking, because even at the scale that I tend to work at, which is small teams, 2 or 3 people on camera, possibly a client, an art director, communication is very often the critical point that could let you down. Not in a sort of dramatic, catastrophic way, just in a slow, tedious, slightly messy way where things just end up taking longer than they should. You ask for something, it's interpreted slightly differently, you adjust, you clarify a bit, you adjust again. But before you know it, those things kind of add up, and you spent 5 minutes getting to something that should have taken 30 seconds. So I started bringing my comms etiquette from the boat into my shoots. And I wasn't too heavy-handed about it. I'm not walking onto location with a rule book and handing it out at the beginning. I just introduce a bit of structure to how we communicate when something actually matters. So instead of saying, can you focus on the candle? And then a vague nod in response, I say, AC, camera, focus on the candle. And then I hear back, focusing on the candle. And that means that we're totally aligned. And the same thing if it's coming from the art director. Camera, art, can we go a little wider? Give me some separation from the talent. And then I'll respond, repeating it back in my own words, confirming the intent before I act on it. It just removes any guesswork and ambiguity. And sometimes even just between 2 people, things get lost in translation. And crucially, it also distinguishes between general conversation, the natural back and forth you want on a location, and the moments where something actually needs to be executed correctly. And the reason I'm actually talking about comms today is because of these headsets. I've been using the Hollyland Solidcom SE Pros for a while now. I've got 3 units and I needed a 4th. But I accidentally ordered the standard SE for my 4th rather than the Pro, which, as you can only imagine, doesn't communicate with the Pros. So I've had to send that back. Frustrating, especially because the error is my own, but it did make me think a bit more deliberately about how I'm actually using comms on projects. Like I said, I use the Solidcom SE Pros, but I suspect that in more general terms, most systems in this category are probably pretty comparable. That said, I can personally vouch for the Hollylands. The audio on them is crystal clear, the battery lasts all day, they're comfortable to wear for that entire day as well. There's little light on the mic, when it's red for muted and green for live. And also the boom arm being up mutes it, down means you're talking. I think that's probably standard across a load of headsets. But it's really simple and it's really legible, and it shows anyone who can glance at you what state your comms are in. And I think when you're moving quickly around a space and time is precious, it shows you who's in work mode and who's not. It's really simple and really legible. And again, if you're trying to operate effectively, that can make a real difference. They work well and you can't ask for much more than that. What I would say though is please avoid the Vaxis light comms. They are terrible. They use bone conduction rather than a conventional ear cup, which I suppose in theory sounds interesting, but in reality, the audio quality was very, very poor. And also I had issues pairing straight out of the box. The NFC setup was faulty and I had to send them back. And then when I did get them back, I was still pretty unimpressed. Even in quite calm interior environments, the audio clarity just wasn't there. We've got clearer communication on the boat, running at speed, engines at max, weather coming in than I had with those on a quiet shoot. So my recommendation would be avoid. If you're finding any of this interesting or useful, the kind of thinking about how we actually get work done on projects from someone who's not afraid to tell you if a product is lousy, please consider subscribing. It's a small signal to YouTube that the channel is worth sharing to more people. And if you want to see a bit more of the day-to-day, the setups, decisions, and often quite messy reality in between shoots, I put that mostly over on my Instagram, where I'm Jack Filmed. The thing I found, especially as projects get a bit bigger, is that time is the scarce commodity, not gear. It's not even necessarily budget, but time. And it's almost always quicker to spend an extra couple of seconds confirming something properly via comms than it is to get it wrong and have to shoot it again. Closed loop comms is basically a way of buying that time back. There's another benefit to it as well, which I don't think I fully appreciated until I'd started using it for a while. It can make teams a bit more fluid. On the Lifeboat, we've got a crew pool of about 30, with a handful of commanders, and depending on the job, you're picking different people with different levels of experience. Now, most of the time, I'll know everybody's name, but not everyone knows everyone else's, especially new recruits. And if communication relies on names, that can become a barrier. They might hesitate, they might hold something back because they're not completely sure who or how to address, and that is the absolute last thing you want if they've spotted something important. Roles solve that. So if everyone knows the roles, helm, nav, crew, then anyone can communicate clearly, immediately, and without hesitation. And the exact same thing happens on set. You don't need to know everyone personally to communicate effectively with them. You just need some sort of structure. And what I've noticed over time in all sorts of different scenarios is that when comms break down, everything else falls apart. You can have a team full of very capable people, genuinely excellent at what they do, and still struggle if communication isn't clear. Whereas a team that communicates well can absorb a huge amount of pressure, ambiguity, even mistakes, and still function and still accomplish the objective. If I had to choose, I would take a team with excellent comms over incredible ability every single time. And the nice thing about this approach is that it scales. At the reasonably modest level that I'm working at, it already makes a huge difference. And I can only imagine that as teams get bigger, as things get more complex, its value only compounds. It becomes less of a nice to have, more of an absolute necessity. So where I've landed with it is this. It's one of those really rare, precious things that is both very simple and very effective. It doesn't make your footage better. It doesn't make you more creative. And it definitely won't win you any awards. But what it does do is it makes you easier to work with, more reliable under pressure, and far more efficient with the precious time you've got. And it sends a signal to clients, to collaborators, that you're in control of the things that matter. I'm very aware that there are probably other ways of doing this as well, though, maybe even better ways. And the last thing I want to do is sit here and present this as the only way. It's just a way that I found has worked very well for me, coming from an environment where communication really does need to be absolutely correct. So if you've got your own systems, your own approaches to keep things clear and intentional on set, I would absolutely love to hear them. But I'm just telling you, this is what works for me, both on location, on projects, and when the S hits the F at sea, it works. I'm Jack. Whatever this is, I'm calling Western approaches. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.